What's up? Chad with Eat, Sleep, Nerd, Repeat here. I'm going to be giving you another simple and quick Fantasy Grounds Unity tutorial on how to make a D&D 5e character. So the first thing you're going to want to do is at the bottom right, hit Library, and if you click on Create a PC, it's going to narrow those buttons down to just what you need, and it's going to make it a little simpler for you. Quick side note, if you go to the bottom left and hit Modules, make sure you have the modules loaded in that you need loaded in, and if you're not sure which ones you need, check with your DM. Next, we'll click out of that. First thing you want to do in the creation process, click the button that says PC at the top, and that will open up this window. If you hit the green Add Item button, it's going to pop up with a blank character sheet. So, what you're going to want to do is name your character. We'll just call this one the Dude. And here's where things get very simple. So we're going to move top to bottom on the character sheet. And the first thing you want to do is class and level. Go over here and click the button that says classes. Now it's going to pop up with this, and depending on what modules you have loaded, it may have some duplicates and stuff in there, but we're not really worried about those duplicates. It's going to be the same no matter what source. So let's just click and drag the cleric. We're going to make a cleric. And as soon as you drag and drop that over to class and level, it's going to prompt you on what skills you want to give this character off the bat. Let's say he's a cleric. Let's give him medicine and I guess history. Once you pick your two, the check mark will pop up. Click that. Then it will prompt you to select a specialization. We're going to make it a Tempest cleric because those are fun. And moving on down, then you have background. So let's click out of classes, and then again, there's a button on the right for backgrounds. Click on that. Same thing, there may be duplicates, that's fine. We're just going to say he's an acolyte. So same thing, you want to grab the little box, drag it over to background, and let go. And you can see over on the left in the chat box the things that it gives your character automatically by adding class, race, background, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of race, let's click out of backgrounds and go to races. And again, you may have some dupes, that's fine. We're just going to make it the classical dwarf cleric. And so let's pick one of these and click and drag it over to race and let go. Now it's going to prompt you to select a subrace. We'll just say it's a mountain dwarf. And depending on what modules you have loaded, you may have some extra ones like Mark of Warding. You know, that doesn't necessarily come from the PHP, but that's fine. Pick your subrace, hit OK, and we're moving on. Now, this is the easiest way that I have found to do ability scores. Check with your DM if they want you to roll for stats or use standard array or point by, whatever. Once you have those made up, all you have to do is click on that ability and change it to whatever number you want it to be. And that's all you have to do. Apparently, this cleric rolled really high, but that's all you have to do to add your ability scores. And then saves are already kind of calculated for you, but if you need to modify them, you can click on the little star icon to add or take away proficiency in your saving throws. The rest is going to be calculated pretty much automatically except for HP. Same thing with HP. Calculate that, type it in, you're good. So next we're going to be looking at our tabs down the right, kind of manila folder style. From the main tab, we're going to go to skills. And here's where it will add your proficiencies from your class or race, background, all that kind of stuff. But again, if you need to add or take away proficiencies, as you click, it will give you half, double, full proficiency, or none. You can modify it that way. Moving on down, you have your abilities tab. That shows you all the abilities, traits, features, all that kind of stuff. If you need to modify this, then at the bottom right, you have your little icon here. You click on that, and it will let you edit your list, add or take away, etc. Moving on down, we have inventory. And here's where it gets interesting with inventory too, but it's still just as simple. Over here on your tabs, you want to hit items. And that might take just a second to load as there are a lot of items in D&D. But the easiest way to do this is, okay, let's say our cleric is going to start with chainmail. Just type in chainmail, hit enter, and it will search up everything that has the chainmail keyword in it. So all you have to do, you guessed it, click on the box, drag it over, and let go under equipment. Now that will automatically equip it for you. You can check that to not carry it at all, carry it, or equip it. And you'll notice if it's equipped, when you go to your main tab, it will adjust your AC accordingly. So let's go back to inventory. You're going to do the same thing with weapons. So click on here, clear your search. Let's say he's just going to start with a Warhammer, so type in Warhammer. It will show everything with the keyword Warhammer, and we're just going to do the same thing. Click on the box, drag it over under equipment, and let go. And now I would like to direct your attention to these tabs on the right again. If you skip over the next two and go to the very bottom one where it says actions, you'll notice once you equip a weapon, it will automatically add that action for you. From there, I am going to skip over here. We're going to click off of items. And same thing with spells. So there's the tab for spells. And just like everything else, you can search up what spell you need. He's a cleric, so let's just type in bless, hit enter. And then under spells, you can click and drag that under spells, and it will add that action for you as well. And it even shows you your spell slots as a first level cleric and all of that. Okay, so that's the quick down and dirty for equipment and stuff. Treasure, you can type in, let's say he starts with 50 gold, and you can specify what that space means, GP, SP, CP, etc. However you want to do that, and you can type in manually how much treasure you have, and it even calculates encumbrance. Let's move on down. You have your notes. This is where you can add specifications for your character, gender, age, height, weight. You can read all that, and it even has a notes section at the end for you to take campaign notes and all that kind of stuff. And then moving on, you have your log. This is like an adventure log. I've never really used this, but if you're using Fantasy Grounds as social distancing for Adventure League or something, this is where you can put in all that information, but we're not going to worry about that for now. And then again, that brings us to the Actions tab, which we already discussed. The last thing you really want to do, and you may have to get with your DM to load these assets in. Let's go ahead and click out of this. But the last thing is your portrait. If you have these assets loaded into Fantasy Grounds yourself, you may be able to add them yourself. But again, if not, you can just check with your DM. That will open this window if you just click where the portrait should be, and then you'll click on the bag, double click it, and it'll give you whatever sources you have to add your token. Let's just do D&D 5e portraits, and it will, if you mouse over them, it will show you races. Let's do dwarf, double click that. And we'll just add this dude, the classic D&D dwarf, double click that, and it will automatically put that in as your portrait. And there you have it, less than 10 minutes on creating a character for D&D 5e. Of course, there is a lot more thought and effort that goes into making your character, but as far as inputting it into Fantasy Grounds Unity, it does not have to be a difficult process. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because I really am going to be trying to put out more tutorials like this that are quick and just give you the details on what you need to get started. So thank you guys again. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.